So here we are in our proposed alternate HSA base plan. Remember, we added a new plan group by clicking over here and clicking on Create Plan Group. Then we came over after getting it and clicked here on the plan group options to rename the plan group Alternate HSA Base Plan. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to be able to add in a new plan design, and we're going to build out a $4,000 aggregate deductible HDHP. Now you should see your plus sign down here in our empty plan group where we're going to go to add our plan design. If you can't see it, it may be because your plan group is closed. So make sure we click on it so that we know it's open, and you'll notice it says empty plan group, click plus to add plan. I'm going to click on the plus sign. We can see the plans we've already used that have premiums associated with them. So because we have premiums for the 1,000 and the 2,000, they're now showing up when we go to add a plan design. So I'm going to go to select plan from database, but now instead of selecting one, we're going to go to add new medical plan. All right, so now when I go to add new medical plan, you'll notice that it's being added at the employer level. So this plan is not going to be added to our agency database, but it will be added at the employer level so that I have access to this plan for this employer. Now I'm going to use a name that's going to be A as an aggregate, HSA. So we need to give a name. And I'm going to use kind of a default structure, which is 4,000/100/4,000. That represents the in-network single deductible coinsurance out-of-pocket max. All right, so it gives us, through the name, we actually can gather a lot of information about the medical plan itself. Next step is right to the right, we're going to click on qualified HDHP. We have to tag a plan as either traditional or qualified so that we don't inadvertently try and add an employer-funded HSA to a non-qualified plan. Next, we're going to have to select our carrier. I'm going to go down and choose sample carrier. All right, and we've got sample carrier added in. Now then, you'll notice that there are two tabs. These two tabs represent the benefits that we store for a medical plan. So the first tab, in network, is where we're going to enter in the deductible. So I'm going to put in a 4,000 deductible. Notice the carrier coinsurance is 100%. And the max out of pocket, notice that that is to include the deductible. So we're going to make this $4,000. This is a pre-ACA HSA plan where it's simply the deductible. After the deductible is met, the carrier pays 100%. So we don't have any copays after the deductible, no RX card that kicks in after the deductible, no out-of-pocket max. That's $6,350. It's a straight $4,000 deductible HSA. Now for employee plus one, that represents we're going to have potentially two deductibles. So that would be $8,000 for the deductible, and again, $8,000 for the max out of pocket. This last benefit tier, employee plus two or more, can sometimes create confusion. People think, why aren't there four since we have four enrollment types? Well, the fact is, enrollment types are how premium is issued. Benefit tiers, a better way of looking at this is how many deductibles there are per family. Since this is an HSA plan, we only have two potential deductibles, a max of 2 times single for deductible and out-of-pocket max. So I can just uncheck this. Now, if we had a plan that had 3 deductibles per family, we would leave it checked and we would enter in that third deductible, in this case $12,000. But since we only have 2 deductibles, we can take that out. Now we're going to come over and click on our copays tab. Now, we don't have any copays associated with this HSA plan, but it gives you a look into the copays that we store: primary, specialty, urgent, emergency, outpatient, and inpatient. So these copays are normally just those fixed dollar copays. We don't enter in coinsurance if there is no fixed dollar copay and it just applies to coinsurance. But you'll notice we could put in a dollar amount and note. So if inpatient hospital was a 500 with a max of 3 days, we could put in those notes. But the key here is that in-network deductible coinsurance and copays are what make up our plan. We also can use plan codes and networks and metal grades, and we'll take those into consideration when we're building your plan library. We also have an opportunity to enter notes in. So if there's something very specific about this medical plan that doesn't show up in the employer or in the fields that we capture, you can also store it in notes. Now that I've created that plan, I'm going to go ahead and click Create. I'm going to go next to my RX plan. Now here, I'm actually going to skip the RX plan. If I wanted to add a new one, I could come right here and do that. The fact is that RX is not required, only medical is, so I can actually skip it and come to my premium screen. All right, so the key is that when we want to enter a new medical plan, we can always do that. We're going to always run into a situation where there may not be that medical plan already created in our library. Now you can also go before you actually start entering in your plan designs and go to your employer database in the employer menu and enter in all the plans you want. But if you're adding a plan design to a plan group and want to create a new one, the key is that we track the deductible, coinsurance, out-of-pocket max, and then the copays. Another important thing to understand is that once this plan has been created, we can't edit the deductible, coinsurance, out-of-pocket maximum. Other employers may be sharing this plan and have an HRA, so we can't just make updates to that deductible, coinsurance, out of pocket. So you're going to want to make sure that you take your time and make sure that those are entered correctly before we actually create those plans. All right, so now we've actually added this $4,000 deductible HSA plan to our employer database and are using it in creating our plan design.